Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to Overwatch. And I think we can all agree on one thing currently in Overwatch. Echo is a little strong, isn't she? So, if you've played on a PTR since Echo has been released, or you've seen some Echo footage, you may be thinking, wow, this hero is crazy, she is overpowered, and should never have been brought into the game. I don't agree with that. Some people will say that, but I don't agree with that. I think actually she's a fantastic hero, because she is so exciting and different to play. She is really, really unique, and she's got a really nice fast flow to her. I really like the way Echo plays, so I really want the Blizzard devs to be careful in the way in which they tweak her, and they've said that they know she's incredibly powerful, and she is going to be facing a lot of tweaking in the future while she's on the PTR before she goes live. And Jeff even said that it might be a little longer that she spends on the PTR to make sure they get her right. So, I have compiled a list of 3 things I think that need to be altered with Echo in order to make her a bit more balanced than she is now, because I think it's fair to say, if she went live right now, yeah, I think we'd all be a bit astonished, wouldn't we? So, the first thing I want to see, I think a lot of us would like to see, and I think the most important thing is her sticky bomb damage. So, her total damage from her sticky bombs at the moment is 210, I believe. So, that's a one-shot on 200 HP heroes. So, if you were to hit all of your bombs onto an Echo, she would die. Tracer, she would die. McCree would almost die. So, it's, I think, a bit too much damage. And when you look at it in certain other aspects, it's kind of like a mini Tracer bomb. And it synergizes very well with Zarya, actually. If you throw all of your sticky bombs into the center of a Graviton Surge that has got a few people in it, it's going to do a lot of damage. A lot of damage. And I think Sticky Bomb has, it just has a bit too much one-shot potential right now. I would like to see it dialed down to perhaps below that 200 mark, just so that she can not one-shot people as easy. Perhaps one-shot a Tracer. For example, I believe that sticky bombs do 180 explosion damage and 30 impact damage if you hit them all on one target. So, I think perhaps taking away that 30 impact damage if you hit them all on one target to make it 180 damage in total if you hit them all, I think might be a bit better, because then you're still one-shotting things like a Tracer or something that is below that 200 HP mark, but then, if it's a 200 HP hero or more, they are having that little bit of time to escape that I think will be a bit better. Plus, it means that Echo would have to not invest more is the wrong word, but use her abilities in a certain way, like Genji would Shuriken Dash or Deflect Dash to eliminate heroes fairly swiftly. Echo could do the same with Sticky Bomb Focus Beam. This would make this combo still pretty effective, but also give it an element of counterplay. If you can get out of the way of that focus beam before it comes in, you will survive with approximately 20 health if you're a 200 HP hero and you got all those sticky bombs stuck to you. So, I still think there's a bit of work to be done with sticky bombs. I think that's the main problem. I mean, I've seen instances when we saw the friendlies for the Overwatch League, which featured Echo, and I see Sinatra plant a load of bombs in front of the Junkertown spawn and get 2 kills off of that spawn. That is just bonkers, just from the bombs. Just from the bombs. I think that's just a bit bonkers, to be quite honest with you, and I think that needs to be dialed back. That would be my #1 thing for Echo right now. Now, there are other things. I think the next thing, or the second thing to look at, is perhaps the ult generation when in duplicate. So, as you may know, she generates an incredible amount of ult charge when she duplicates a hero from the enemy team. You can get off, this isn't a completely ideal scenario, but I tested it on the PTR training range when I first looked at Echo. You can get about 4 Hanzo Dragons from one use of Echo's ult, if you hit your shots. Now, that's obviously all according to the fact that you hit your shots, and in a gameplay environment, and not a testing environment, it's much harder to do that. But the possibility is there. And I've seen people still getting off 2 Earth Shatters and 3 Pulse Bombs and things like that in play. So I still think there's a bit of tuning to do with her ultimate in terms of the ult generation when she's in duplicate. So, currently, when she's in duplicate, she generates her ultimate ability, as that hero, whatever it may be, 6.5 times faster than the usual ult generation. I think we could dial that back a bit. I would like to see a point where we're not getting multiple grabs per use of duplicate, which, again, is an ideal scenario to be getting multiple grabs, but it can be done. I would like to see, in most scenarios, a grab being, you know, attained at the end of duplicate. You use the grab, and by the time you've used the grab, you're kind of out of duplicate and you're back as Echo. That is the kind of speed I'd like to see ults. Now, sometimes you will be doing that now. It depends how much damage you do with Zarya and how much you get focused. But I think the ult generation in duplicate is just a bit ridiculous. I mean, 2-3 pulse bombs. It is ridiculous, really, let's be honest. But it is really fun. So I don't want to see it nerfed back to the point where she's, for some heroes, not generating an ultimate at all. Because, yeah, that would be a bit off. But some of the plays we've seen so far with perhaps, you know, turning into a Reinhardt and just pinning the enemy Reinhardt when he's not expecting it, that can make a big difference as well. So I don't think duplicate has to be all about the ultimates. I think it can also be about a strategic play to completely catch your enemies off guard, which doesn't necessarily have to mean an ultimate. I just think also there's a lack of counterplay sometimes to the ultimate when she's getting ultimates because she's getting them so fast. You know, a fire strike and a swing and you've got an earth shatter, another fire strike and a swing and you've got another earth shatter. So it's a bit crazy, and I would like to see it dialed back. Again, I wouldn't do anything too drastic. I wouldn't half the charge time because I think that's just too much. But I would like to see it dialed back slightly and keep incrementing on it to see where the nice spot is at for that sort of increase in ult charge. But lastly, and this is kind of like an add-on. I wouldn't do this immediately. I would do the first two things and then see if she still needs tuning after that. But this is focusing beam, right? I think the damage per second it does to fully healed or above half health targets, I think is fine. In fact, actually, it's a bit weak, but it's kind of meant to be like that. But on low targets, 200 damage per second also seems a little high for my liking. I don't know. It's a case of just chucking it in there when you see a load of really low health people. And you end up getting, I've done it myself, getting 2-3 kills, and it's like, whoa, okay. Okay, that's a weapon of mass destruction right there. So, I think perhaps she does 4 times the amount of damage on 50% or lower targets, or barriers, or turrets, or whatever. I would probably change that to 150. Do it 3 times. See what happens. But again, I wouldn't do these 3 changes at once. I would probably do the sticky bomb thing first, because I think that's actually the worst thing about this at the moment. I think sticky bombs are the most OP part of Echo's kit right now, just because of the amount of damage it does. That might be a bit controversial considering the duplicate ultimate ability generation rate, but I still think that sticky bombs are doing a little bit more damage than I would like them. So, take it as this for instance. When Sinatra did that double kill coming out of the Junkertown spawn in the friendlies for San Francisco Shock against Soul Dynasty, he got 73 ult charge off of those bombs. 73% ult charge off of basically 2 kills with those bombs that were basically spam outside the door. And I don't like that. I would like to see that at about 50%. Now, it would be that if you dialed back the damage of the bombs slightly. And so that's what I'd like to see here. It still gives you the opportunity to do crazy plays like that, because if Sinatra, again, with the flight that Echo has and the mobility she has, you can still do this. You can get the enemy spawn, plant the bombs on the people, and they'll be down to 20 health-ish, and then you just finish them off with the focusing beam, which you could do both, unless the team reacts to it, obviously, and then fly out. So it's still possible. And I want it to still be possible, because it means that we get some really awesome plays. And it really helps the the flow of the hero. But I still think that sticky bombs do a little bit too much damage, and I don't want to see sticky bombs giving Echo a crazy amount of ultimate charge too quickly, because if she does get that ultimate really quickly, it kind of... I hate to bring up power creep, but that's what it kind of feels like, right? Echo's ultimate, whether it builds ultimates in its ultimate, it's really confusing to say, but when she's in duplicate, if she builds her ultimate even at 4 times the charge rate, it's still really powerful, right? Duplicate is going to be possibly one of the most powerful ultimates in the game, if not one of the most, if not the most powerful ultimate in the game, simply because it can facilitate other ultimates, right? So I would like to see it be one of the longest charging ultimates. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave that. These are my early thoughts on how to perhaps dial back Echo slightly. I don't want to see her nerfed into the ground. We've seen this with other DPS heroes like Doomfist, who have just been completely nerfed into the ground after they came out, because Doomfist was OP when he first came out, mind. But he got nerfed to obscurity. I don't want to see that with Echo, because I think she's a really cool design, I think she's a really cool hero, and I want to see Echo as a viable pick for a long time. So I just don't want to see her dominate, and I don't want to see her as OP as she perhaps is now. So these are my early ideas of perhaps how to dial back Echo. But if you've got your own ideas on how to dial back Echo, then please let me know in the comments below, and we can all have a great discussion on this issue. But Echo is a fantastic hero, and I really like the way she plays. But she's got some things to iron out. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching today. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.